Welcome to the Girl Gang. I'm Katrina Gardner of Katrina and Create.
And I'm Dominique Goyette-Connerty of Evergreen Marketing. On this show, we're going to chat with women business owners in Massachusetts and those who support local women in business.
Because girls don't just want to have fun. They also want to sell real estate.
They want to open a brewery.
They want to teach others to invest in the stock market.
They want to take stunning photos, plan lavish parties, and help people recover from injuries.
Girls just want a podcast.
What can we say?
We're girls.
And I hope the mic picked that up. This is not a Diet Coke, but I do need caffeine. So here we go. Welcome to Girls Just Wanna.
Welcome to Girls Just Wanna.
It is still May, I think, when this comes out. It's May when we're recording, so whatever, it counts.
Yep.
And you guys might not know this, but May is Katrina's month.
First of all,
belongs to her.
My name is Katrina May.
Mm-hmm.
So,
true story.
Yeah.
Facts.
I don't know what happened first, if I was like born in May and my mom was like, yeah, that makes sense. Let's just...
You don't know if that's why she chose May? All your life you've never thought to ask?
No, I have asked, and
she doesn't
I think that's part of the reason. But so my grandmother, her name is Mary, but I guess she was always called Sis May, Sister May, for some reason. Okay. So I'm kind of named after her, but kind of it's because I was born in May, so I guess both those things. But then I got married in May, so my anniversary is coming up. I got married in 2018, so what's that?
7 years.
7 years.
But do you remember what day?
May 26th.
Okay.
It was Memorial Day weekend.
Well, it's going to be Memorial Day this year, right?
Oh, yeah, I don't have to work.
You're welcome. No, just kidding.
Do something special. And then Mother's Day, which is sometimes on my birthday, because my birthday is really close to Mother's Day. Mm-hmm. This year it was 2 days apart. So yeah, it's been a month of celebration, like it is every year. Although, as often happens with me lately, because I have a toddler, I was sick on my birthday this year. So, bummer. But otherwise it was good. Yeah.
So she owns this month, so don't even try and cross her this time of year.
Yeah,
because it's her time.
I get whatever I want in May.
So diva. That's Katrina, the biggest diva I know. I say sarcastically. You're not very diva.
No, I don't give off diva. I give off slob.
You
lazy.
give off. No, you just give off like low maintenance. Yeah. Like I feel like I am sometimes the same. I feel like I'm kind of the same.
I think you're pretty low maintenance.
I'm just like, I told Katrina, I went and I kickboxed this morning at 7 a.m. And because she said, did you get a haircut? And I was like, no, but I did work out this morning. So I didn't have time to fully wash my hair because it wouldn't be dry. And I don't dry my hair. It's a whole thing. And so I showered and then I dry shampooed and like tried to curl my hair because it was looking nasty. So that gives off very low maintenance. Like I can't do a full shower before podcast, even though I'd like to look presentable.
Right.
It was more important to me that I punch something at 7 a.m. Well, so here we are.
Yeah. I also want to rant for like one quick second.
Let's go. Soapbox, bring it out. It's your month. You can do whatever you want.
Okay. So this all started yesterday.
Oh no.
I needed to go to a photo shoot. Car wouldn't start, which is the second time in like a week that my car wouldn't start because my battery, and I had this issue like a year ago, my battery kept dying. And then it was like fine, and now it's dying again. So we're like, I need a new car. So that was frustrating. Side note, car is starting to work. I'm on my way to Boston. Spider is crawling down. That's not part of the story, but just like yesterday was rough.
But that would have been an instant car crash for me. So.
Oh yeah, and someone was like on my ass. And then like they probably were about to call the police because then I'm like, and like swerving. But anyway, so I'm like, do I need to get a new car? Like, you know, my car is really small, and with Jamie, we're like, you know, maybe we should get a new car. I cannot afford to get a new car because I can't afford a car payment. It's paid off right now. Lucky me.
So nice.
And then one of the things is like, I haven't been paying my student loans because they've been in forbearance because I signed up for Biden's SAVE plan last year. And then I don't know how much you're familiar with like what's going on.
I'm not because I don't have student loans.
I haven't been familiar either. So I like to dig my head in the sand.
Yeah.
But I was like, I should like look into this. So I guess the SAVE plan, like Biden did it, and then like Trump's people were like, you can't do this, but it had already like been done. So now it's in like legal battle. So that's why it's in forbearance until like the courts figure out what they want to do with this like SAVE plan. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to start paying back my student loans eventually, but I have no idea when I'm gonna have to start paying them back. Yeah. And then also my lovely 4-year-old son, who is just the best thing in the world. So he's been on an IEP, and he's not going to be on an IEP next year because he's such a little genius.
Oh,
that
he needs to get dumber real quick. No, I'm just kidding.
So
he needs to regress. He needs to stop talking, stop doing all the milestones that they were looking for.
I know.
Be like, psych, I actually didn't learn this.
So I have to pay for school next year, which it's like, you know, that's an expense that's coming up.
Yeah,
student loans are an expense that, so it's just like, I cannot pay for a new car. And I'm just really frustrated with the world.
Yeah.
Not frustrated with Jamie. Love you, Jamie.
Yeah. And good job, Jamie, for being smart.
Yeah. Yeah. They were like,
it sucks that now he's smart, so you have to pay for school.
I'm like crying on the, I was crying on the call, and they were like, you know, it's like really overwhelming. I'm like, I'm just poor. But yeah, they were like, there was no way he could stay on an IEP. They're like, yeah, he's testing above average in like IQ, like psych, everything.
Oh, good.
So I'm like,
and it's not going to be kindergarten, right? It's going to be preschool still because he'll be 4.5, right? In September.
So I think kindergarten we don't have to pay for. I think that's when like free public school
kindergarten
starts.
is state paid.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
so he still has a year until that.
A year of preschool.
I wonder if he could get in earlier,
like kindergarten,
earlier than 5 years old.
I don't think so, but they did work with us to do a lower monthly payment.
Okay.
Because they were like, if you're having trouble paying this, like we want Jamie at the school, blah, blah, blah. So we worked something out.
Good.
But I still have to pay.
Yeah.
So I can't get a new car. So I have my jumper cables with me in case it doesn't start when I leave here.
And I will post that on our Instagram stories if it happens, because I'm not helping. No, I'm kidding.
So anyway, I'm just really annoyed with the world. And,
hell yeah. Classic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note.
Yeah, let's talk to our guest.
Sure.
Okay. Hey ladies, are you looking to grow your own local girl gang?
The Young Professional Women's Association has been named Worcester Region's Best Young Professionals Network for 7 years now.
YPWA offers countless social and professional opportunities to engage and empower local ladies like you and me.
Right now, Girls Just Wanna listeners can get discounted access to YPWA's annual membership.
Go to ypwaworcester.com and enter code podcast 2025 at checkout to receive $20 off their annual membership. Again, that promo code is podcast 2025. We hope to see you soon at YPWA events.
And we're back. Welcome to the show, Marina Jewers. You are a local mortgage loan officer, and this is how I'm going to talk about mortgages and loans because I'm a renter and I don't know anything about buying.
That's
a
okay.
house.
That's why we're here.
Welcome. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor. You had some pretty amazing women on here. So
And now you're one of them.
well, thank you.
So you can
It's
join
such
the
an
cohort.
honor.
Okay, so you as a mortgage officer, which we'll get into, or a loan officer, excuse me, you have, I guess, your own brand, but you work for a bigger like lender, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I work for Fairway Independent Mortgage.
Okay.
We are one of the largest non-bank lenders in the country.
Okay.
So I have an office locally. There are branches nationally. But a loan officer, it's sort of like a realtor, like you will. Like you are going to be working for a large national brand, but we're 100% responsible for sourcing our own business and our own clients.
Mm-hmm. And how long have you been doing this?
I have been in the industry and with my company for 8 years, but licensed for about 5.5.
Okay, and you're obviously licensed in Massachusetts. Are you licensed elsewhere?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm licensed in all of New England, New Jersey, and Florida.
So people who end up buying houses in New Jersey, Florida, anywhere in New England can use you.
Absolutely.
As their loan officer.
And
Okay.
especially in Massachusetts where we're bordering
Mhm.
several
Right,
other
right,
states.
yeah.
I have clients who are starting to look in Mass. Oh, we bought in Connecticut.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
especially around here, there's a lot of, hey, we want to buy a second home down in Florida. So.
Sure.
So, okay, I need you to break it down for me. Like I'm a 5-year-old. What does a loan officer do in the simplest terms?
So
help me. Help me understand.
I got you because it is. I mean, like it's not a sexy term. Right? So a loan officer, to be most technical, is someone who can help you obtain a mortgage.
Okay.
I really like to think of myself as a mortgage advisor because most people don't know anything about a mortgage or buying a house until they go to do it. Like you don't learn about it in school, you don't learn about it in college. Maybe you've heard people talk about it or read about it online, but you really don't know what the process entails. So I am there to guide and educate you from the moment you're starting to think about buying a house all the way through to closing and thereafter.
Okay. So in that, you obviously work with home buyers.
Yes.
Like that's your direct but you must work closely with a lot of realtors, real estate agents.
Yep.
So how do you like build those relationships, or are you working like if I'm ready to go buy a house, do I reach out to you directly, or is it oftentimes that like I choose a real estate agent, a realtor, and then they already know Marina and they're like, oh, so Marina's a great loan officer, you should work with her as well?
So either is fine. There's no right or wrong answer.
Okay.
What happens most often, because people don't always think of the mortgage piece, they just are looking on Zillow and they're like, I want to buy this house, I need to contact a realtor. Well, typically the first thing your realtor is going to ask is, okay, that's great, I would love to work with you, but have you been pre-approved? And if they haven't, they're going to send you to a lender, because the realtor isn't going to show you houses if they know you can't actually afford to buy it. So getting pre-approved really should be right up there in that first step as you're thinking about who you'll work with for a realtor.
And again, in basic terms, can you explain for people? I mean, I think I know what it is, but for people also who aren't familiar, like what it means to get pre-approved, what that's like.
Absolutely. So the pre-approval starts just a basic conversation with a mortgage advisor. Where are you thinking of buying? What's your time frame? Most importantly, the first thing I ask people is, what's your budget? And they say, well, aren't you here to tell me that? Well, yes, I can tell you what you can qualify for, but lenders qualify you on your gross monthly income. So pre-tax, pre-insurance, everything. So most of the time we can tell you that you can afford a lot more than you're actually comfortable spending. So it's really, what is your lifestyle? Do you like to go out to eat a lot? Do you like to travel a lot? Do you have kids in daycare? So maybe I say you can qualify for one thing, but you're like, there's no way I can spend more
You're
than
like, I'm
this.
actually spending half my income on daycare.
Yeah, probably.
We started talking about that at the beginning of this episode. Katrina has some childcare expenses upcoming.
Yes.
That she's like,
Yeah.
As well as student loans.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm sure you deal a lot with that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Both of those.
We're both in marketing.
Yep.
So we talk a lot about this ideal client profile, or like, you know, the ideal type of person that you want to work with in your business. I see that you work a lot with first-time home buyers as opposed to just any home buyer at all, which it sounds like you can work with anyone.
I can work with anyone.
But you focus on first-time home buyers, or maybe you prefer it.
I do focus mostly on first-time home buyers. I love working with first-time home buyers.
Why?
Just because I have that opportunity to really guide and educate people through the process. Again, if you don't know anything, typically I work with a lot of millennials. Typically, you know, the millennial way to do things is, okay, like we're tech savvy, but you still want to get recommendations. You still want to reach out to friends and family. Hey, like, what do you think or know about this? And they still really trust the people who they're typically you want to build that trust with them. But millennials, typically they're tech savvy, but they also want to work with friends and family and people who they know, like, and trust. So
which we talk about also a lot in marketing.
Absolutely. So they'll use Google, they'll use ChatGPT, ask all the questions. But then a lot of times I talk to people, they're like, oh, you know, I wanted to ask you more about that because I read about this, but it didn't make sense. Or I actually talked to someone last week who said, wow, talking to you was so much more helpful than ChatGPT. I said, well, wow, thank you. What a compliment. So
No
it's like,
way.
we have the tools and we know enough to be dangerous, but they really need someone to guide them through that process. And that's what I provide with every, like, everyone has access to my direct cell phone. I'm texting clients at 9 o'clock at night. You know, if you have a question about something, I'm there to help you. It's not just a 9 to 5 thing, Monday through Friday. The real process happens typically outside of 9 to 5 mostly. It's nights and weekends. A few weeks ago, I woke up in the morning, I saw an offer, a realtor sent an offer out around 10 o'clock, and by 7 o'clock in the morning, it was accepted. I'm like, all right, so it's literally happening while everyone else is. So that's just, again, one of the really important reasons why you should get pre-approved and early on in the process, because while, you know, I may be available at 9 or 10 o'clock at night to help you, I don't always love to work those hours.
Of course.
So I bought a house in 2018, or my husband and I bought a house.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We were searching in 2017, and I remember, like you said, we had a cousin that bought his house, and he referred us to his lender. But we never met this person in person. And I think maybe he had switched whoever he was working through, and we got our pre-approval like online without meeting him. I think we maybe had like 1 or 2 phone calls with him total. So like, I don't remember my lender like a whole lot. And I'm like, just curious if that's typical, if there's a better way of doing it.
Well, for one thing, shame on them. But the process can mostly be done electronically. So typically I schedule a free consultation, discovery call, what you will, with a client, whether that's on the phone, whether it's on Zoom or in person, because while you can go on and apply online, I want you to know that I'm a real person, not just some stranger from the internet. But then filling out the online application, I mean, most people are going to prefer, hey, if I can just answer, you know, my name, my date of birth, my social, all of that on my own time. We have an app on your phone, you can do it, rather than me sitting and doing it by hand. And then we also need a lot of documentation. So for most people, they just have that electronically, can send it over. But a lot of times, like I just came from a closing actually, and one of the buyers I just met for the first time at the closing table. But so one thing, my background is actually in marketing. I started at my company working in marketing.
Oh, wow.
I have a degree in marketing, and I actually started out teaching loan officers how they can market themselves. So using social media, email, web. And that's one of the most important things we teach people is the transaction doesn't end with the sale. Like you have access to me for life. I want to be your lender for life. When you're buying that next home, if you need to pull equity out of your home to do a kitchen renovation or a bathroom. So try to stay in touch with people, you know, reach out a couple times a year. You have, you know, follow me on social, connect with me on LinkedIn, like you're getting my monthly emails. So I think that's really what you need to do to stay in touch with people.
Like I don't remember his name, you know?
So before we started this interview, I was saying to Katrina, you know, off camera, I was like, hey, we have a loan officer today, and you might have to take a lot of the questions because I don't know the first thing. I've been a renter for years. And she owns that. She goes, I don't remember anything about working with a loan officer. I know that I have a mortgage, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it helped that we had a really great, knowledgeable realtor. So, you know, we had the lender that got us pre-approved, then we had a realtor that was like, all right, you got pre-approved for that, so like you should look in this, you know, like all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, looking back, and also like I was 26, you know, like that's young. I know,
26 now. So
it was a different time. Oh my gosh, I would not be able to buy a house now.
Oh, great. So speaking of that, you would. So you mentioned that part of the reason you love working with first-time home buyers is the education piece of it and the guidance and, you know, being able to offer that knowledge and wisdom. You also mentioned when you walked into this space that you've hosted workshops in this room,
Yeah.
in this conference room. You do a lot of first-time home buyer workshops,
Yep.
seminars.
Yep, first-time home buyer classes, webinars. So I teach a monthly webinar. I call it Mortgages with Marina. So that if people want to learn about the process, it's like, hey, it's on a Tuesday night from 6 to 7. Join me while you're making dinner. You don't have to turn your camera on. I'm just going to be talking about the process from a high level, just so you know enough to be dangerous and sort of understand how the process works from, first thinking and scrolling on Zillow through that closing. I'm also always happy to partner with realtors, attorneys, insurance agents. Those are the people most commonly involved in the process. To host live seminars too.
Yeah.
We try to make it fun. We'll add like a food or a drink component to it. So
getting that education.
Do you hear it a lot lately from younger people saying, "Oh, I can never afford a home"?
It's definitely coming up more and more.
Yeah.
And I think that, it's just, it's people reading into the media too much too. You see the cost of everything, the price of eggs, or everything is so expensive. And I think that's one thing that people just assume, oh, I can't afford a house, but they don't really know all the facts. So that's why it's so important to just talk with a lender early on in the process. It doesn't cost you anything. So, okay, where do I even stand? Like, what's my baseline? What are 3 things that I can work on to get myself better prepared to buy in the future? Just knowing that can really help set you up, because if you call me and you're like, I just saw the house of my dreams, I need to make an offer, and it's like, hey, you should have called me 2 years ago so that I could have started this.
So as I mentioned, I'm a renter. I've been a renter for several years now. I would say I'm one of the people you're talking about who's like, oh no, I'll never be able to afford a house. It is like a goal. I'd like to stop paying my landlord every month and not seeing any return on that investment on my end. Feels a lot like throwing money away. I mean, granted, I have a roof over my head, so like that's good for now. But I would say, I feel pretty bleak about the future. What would you say to people like me who are like, shoot, am I ever going to get out of the current situation where I'm just paying my rent every month and I'm paying all my other bills and I'm like making ends meet and that's fine? Will I ever get to a point where I'm able to save enough for a down payment, for a mortgage, and be able to find a house in my price range, in my area? Like, give me some hope here, Marina. Help me.
I would say you need to educate yourself.
Okay.
So we need to schedule a one-on-one. But basically, we'll talk through, what are you currently paying in rent? Okay. How much more do you think you could realistically spend without going beyond your means? And maybe you said, you could spend another $500 or another $1,000 a month. Okay. Take that extra $500 or $1,000 and put that into savings, and pretend like you're making that payment every month, and that way you're forcing yourself to save and you're seeing if you can actually make this realistic. I will also say there are so many great first-time buyer programs out there. Most first-time buyer programs you can put down as little as 3 to 3.5%. There are programs you can put down 0%. There are assistance programs, like the city of Boston has a phenomenal program for first-time buyers. It does have income restrictions. It has credit requirements. So again, let's talk through it early on, because if you're thinking you could be making a lot more money in a few years, like, all right, well, let's get you into that now while you still fit into this bracket. And the other thing I'd say too, I'm just going to assume you're self-employed. So you file your taxes a little bit differently than someone who's a salaried W-2 borrower. Talk with your accountant early on and let them know, hey, I want to buy a house in the next 1 to 2 years. So let's not write off every single thing because I need to show some income.
Okay. What would you say is like something not known about the work you do, or a misconception about mortgages or about the real estate market these days that you want to clarify on the record for the people right now? What's something we're misunderstanding?
I really just want to touch base on kind of like what we said, like people are thinking that it's just so out of reach for them or so out of the cards, and there are so many programs out there. So don't get discouraged by that. There's a program out there for everyone. There's a home out there for everyone. Maybe if you're in a lower budget, a condo is a great option for you. Maybe you're just not looking in the right areas.
There's always ways to make it work.
There's always ways that we can make it work.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we need a little bit of help.
Yeah.
Sometimes help from family, sometimes an assistance program.
Mm-hmm.
But until you really start thinking and going through what can I actually do here, you might not know.
Right. Yeah. That's a good point.
I know that a lot of the conversation lately in the real estate world is about the rates and, you know, people waiting for the rates to drop. And I know that, like, my husband and I, who bought in 2018, like, we have a really great rate. So I heard it described as like the golden handcuffs, where like we feel like we can't go anywhere because we don't want to let go of our like 3% rate. But do you have anything to advise for the people that are like, well, we're going to wait, or, you know, the rates are just too high right now?
To add on to that question, something I've heard, and again, I haven't been in the process, so I don't really know, but I've heard marry the house, date the rate.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
That is a very common phrase, probably a little overused in the industry, but basically it means, hey, you know, rates are always fluctuating. They're always going up and down. Historically, over the last 50 years, the average interest rate was in the 7s. We're in the high 6s, low 7s right now.
Right.
So historically, we're average.
Right.
But compared to the past 10 years, and people are
just
those
holding
rates
on.
in the 2s or 3s, which is part of the reason why the market is so crazy right now, because there's just not enough inventory, because people don't want to sell, because the people who want to are like, I can't afford anything, you know, at the current market rates. So marry the house, date the rate basically means that rates are going to change. So get into a home at the price now, because once you buy the house, that price isn't going to change. Only your equity is going to change, and you can always refinance down the road. But the cost of home prices have just continued to appreciate every year. So it's pretty certain that those are going to continue going up. So even if you get in now at a slightly higher rate, we can refinance in the future. One program that I am a huge fan of, it's called a buy down. So essentially, say you're making an offer on a house, you can ask the seller to pay for a portion of your closing costs, which we can use to buy down your interest rate. And we can do that for a temporary time. So you can either buy down your rate 1 or 2 percentage points to really ease into that mortgage payment. And it may slowly go up over the first couple years, but at least, you know, the first year, okay, this is similar to my rent payment, then it might go up the next few years. And then hopefully you'll have a chance to refinance by the time it gets to that full amount. But that's a phenomenal program. We've been doing a lot of those right now.
Good. All right. How can people get in contact with you if they want to work with you, or even just have that initial discussion of like, all right, what do I need to know? What can I afford? Help educate me.
Absolutely. Definitely connect with me on Instagram. It's Marina K. Jewers, or online at mortgageswithmarina.com.
All right. Perfect.
Excellent.
How do we end every episode?
So we always love to end each episode by shouting out another woman-owned business or woman supporting women in business.
Oh, I love that.
And we were wondering if there was anyone that you had in mind that you could shout out.
Yes, I do. Her name is also Marina.
No way.
The Marinas.
The Marinas.
The Marinas are going to stick together. Classic.
Her name is Marina Thurberge. I hope I'm not butchering her last name, but she owns a company called A Bark Above Dog Ventures. Ooh. It's a dog hiking business. Nice. So once a week she comes, picks up my dog, takes her on a 2-hour hike in the woods. It's literally my dog's
heaven.
Dude,
and that is so fun.
Oh, it's so fun because it's more than just, you know, around the neighborhood. She takes a pack of other dogs and they all hike together in the pack.
No, that is
and
so
then
fun.
I get a little email that says, you know, did they go to the bathroom? Did they go in the water? And she sends a bunch of pictures.
It's like daycare.
Yes, it
doggy
literally
daycare,
is,
but like
doggy
elevated.
daycare. Yeah.
Get it? Elevated. You're hiking.
But she's local. She's right in Worcester, and she's awesome.
Awesome. That's so cool. Okay, we have to check that out.
Yeah,
mental note. All right. Well, thank you, Marina, for coming on and educating us to some extent.
Yeah,
of course.
It's been
Thank
great.
you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Want to show your love for all the local ladies in business? Girls Just Want a Podcast merch is now available on Etsy.
From stickers to mugs and hats to tumblers, you can rep your favorite gal gang wherever you go.
Your purchase helps us continue to rent studio space, upgrade our recording equipment, and pay for editing software.
Find Girls Just Wanna merch on Katrina and Create's Etsy shop. Link is in the show notes.
Welcome to Heart It or Hate It.
Favorite segment.
Shall I go first?
Yeah.
Heart It or Hate It, yard sales.
I'm going to say hate it.
You don't like going to them?
No. I am going to participate in a yard sale at my condo association in a couple weeks because I do need to like get rid of a bunch of stuff in my house. But I also hate participating in them because it's usually just a huge pain in the ass to like gather everything and then like bring it down. And then in my experience, nobody takes anything from me. And I literally have to like then lug it all back to my house because it's like through the condo association. It's like not far, but like it's not in my garage. It's like we have to go to the front of the street. So yeah, hate it.
Heart it. I heart it. And I think I'm going to go to some. So last weekend, Holden had a town-wide yard sale.
Yeah.
And I live in Worcester, but I was driving through Holden for stuff. And I was like, oh, man, I wish I could stop it. And also it was like, it started pouring rain. So it was actually pouring rain most of the morning. So a lot of people who were signed up to do the town yard sale were like, yeah, I'm not going to sit outside in this. So you can just come by my house tomorrow. They were posting in this community, like Facebook group. And so I was like, oh, but I have gone to a few yard sales in my day and I don't know if I get lucky or like, that's just the nature of yard sales. Like I'll find some good stuff. Like, and I'll spend $5 or $10. It's awesome.
I don't often find good stuff when I go to them. I don't go to them that often.
It's weird. It's like you have to find the right ones.
Yeah. I will say,
I don't know.
One time at my condo's yard sale, one of the ladies was selling a cat bed. And my current cats, so the cat that I had when I bought that, she didn't care about it. But my cats right now, especially Ludo, he lives in that thing.
Good.
So, and it's felt, which we had a previous guest talk about how cats just like love felt.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was like the best maybe $5 I've ever spent on a cat.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can have a good find. It feels good too when you have a good find because you're like, oh, I didn't spend a lot of money and I just got lucky and reduce, reuse, recycle, repurpose.
I think I usually just get things that like I didn't actually need. So it's just adding like more clutter to my house.
Yeah. So I hope I can go to a good yard sale.
You can come to mine.
I don't know if I need any of your stuff.
Well, it's the whole condo place. I mean, it's a lot of old ladies that live in my condo,
so what do old ladies have that I want? I guess we can find out.
It's like shockingly a lot of clothes.
Oh. All right.
Anyway, okay, mine. What is mine? Oh, heart it or hate it, like fortune tellers, like going to like a psychic.
No, hate it.
I'm sorry, was that heart?
No, I'm still waking up, even though I've been awake for 4.5 hours at this point. I'm still, it's a no from me.
Have you ever been to one?
No.
Yeah. Well, I've been to one twice.
Like a psychic or a fortune teller?
Yeah, a psychic.
Okay, here we go. What'd they say?
So the first one I went to, I was like 13 years old or something. We went for a friend's birthday. And this psychic did tell me that the first relationship that I'm in for longer than 9 months is going to be the person that I marry.
Okay, but also self-fulfilling prophecy. They told you that when you were 13 and then you met Jesse when you were what, 16, 17?
Yeah.
And then you stayed with him. Like that was your choice. And so like, to some extent what they predicted would come true came true, but you also had a hand in that. Like you brought that to life.
Well,
so okay, give me a better example. What else have they told you?
No, the second one was trash.
Okay, so.
And the first one was like somewhere random, like in the center of Massachusetts. I don't know. Some like random lady's house. The second one was in Salem. And again, it was for a different friend's birthday. I just like witchy friends. I don't know what to tell you. And that one was like, you have your mother's eyes. And I'm like, my mom's eyes are brown. And then they were like,
and she's still alive.
They were like trying to get to like somebody having cancer or like some deadly disease. Like I could tell that they were like going for that because they were like, well, is there anything that's like you're nervous about and blah blah blah. And I was like, I guess like my dad's health, because my dad at the time was like recovering alcoholic or like still in like the throes of like his alcoholism or something. And so, but I didn't tell them that.
Right.
So they were just like, I'm so sorry about the cancer. And I'm like, no, he just drinks a lot.
So messed up.
So that one was like.
So are you're going hard at?
So okay, I don't believe that like it. I think
You think it's fun?
I think it's fun. I think it's fun to go do. I don't know if I would do it again unless I'm like drunk, because it does cost money, and it's like,
well, that's yeah.
Yeah.
We talk about this all the time. I'm like, yeah, if I just had
yeah,
money to throw away, like a ton of disposable income, sure.
I do think it's fun. It's like a fun experience.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go hard it.
Yeah, I gotta go hate it on that one. Okay, next one. Hard it or hate it, dip powder for your nails.
Yeah, I've never done it.
Okay.
But I'm gonna go hard it. Like,
Okay. This, ladies and gentlemen, but mostly ladies, is dip powder.
Okay.
So the story is, I've been getting acrylics for like probably a year.
yeah,
Not even a year.
and
And
destroying your nails.
yeah, of course they are.
Yeah.
Classic. But it's nice because I just keep going to get them filled, so I don't have to deal with what's underneath until I decide to fully take them off and not do them anymore. So I've just been getting acrylics filled, whatever. And this most recent time, right before I was like due for a fill, which is like every 3 weeks for me, I broke 2 nails. Like I broke one in half. This one came fully off, and I was like, ugh. So when I went in, I was like, hey, I think I need to get a full new set. Like not just fill. I think I need to take all these off and do new ones, because clearly they're like lifting and they shouldn't be breaking like this. So, that's fine if I'm due for a new set. They're like, okay. Yeah, like the nail tech can like do that for you. And then when I was with the nail tech, she was like, do you want to do dip instead? And she took off all my acrylic nails, which was like kind of painful, BT dubs. She's like, I think dip would be better. She's like, it's better. It's healthier for the natural nail. So your nail grows underneath, and then it just keeps growing. And then they take the dip off every time you go in to fill or whatever, redo it. I don't know. So I don't know. We're going to find out. She's like, we can try it and see how you like it next time you come back.
So are those your natural nails?
No,
long?
They did add a tip onto it because when they took my acrylics off, like my nails are trash now.
Yeah.
So they cut them all down and they put this little itty bitty tip on. Then they did the dip, the color, whatever. Now, next time I go out, my nails will probably within 1 or 2 trips back be grown out to this natural length, so they don't have to apply the tip. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know. We're gonna find out. I wasn't as much of a fan when she was doing them. I was like, I don't know if I like this. I'm also not a fan of the shape this week, which has nothing to do with the dip. I felt like it wasn't pointy enough, whatever. Yeah. So we'll find out. I guess for now I'll go hate it, because I like the idea that they're going to take it off every time, and it's going to help my natural nail grow, and it'll be healthier. But like, I'm also subject to change my answer if we find out it doesn't work as intended.
I mean, I think I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, me too.
I honestly, probably the last time I got my nails done, would have done the dip, except I'm really socially awkward and shy, and like I don't know how to like talk to people, so I just go in and like, and they're like, okay, pick your color, and I'm like, yes, I'll go pick my color, like, and then that's just what happens. And so
fair.
Yeah, but I'll say heart it. I would do it. Yeah.
All right, what's your next one?
Heart it or hate it, zoos, like going to a zoo.
I'm such a brat. Because my immediate reaction is like, hate it, because like I'd rather do other stuff, which is always my reaction when you ask this kind of stuff in harder or hate it. You're like, amusement parks.
I'm always like, what's a fun thing we can talk about?
And I'm like, hate it. I hate fun. I loved it as a kid. I will say, like when we did school field trips or summer camp trips to the zoo, I was like, yes, this is so exciting. Yeah. I can't see a reason why I would want to go now.
So I am a little bit torn, which might be surprising, because I spent a lot of time in like my 20s kind of looking into like the ethics of zoos and like
Interesting.
animals in captivity and,
Yeah.
you know, just mistreatment of
Yeah,
animals at
yeah.
zoos. And then, you know, obviously no one wants animals to be mistreated. So the best way to combat that is to not go to the zoo. Now I have a 4-year-old.
Right.
I do try to like look into the specific zoos that I go to and like look at their website and like see what they say about humane efforts and, you know, how they get their animals and things like that. Because not all zoos are created equal. And
Sure.
so I'm going to say heart it. Jamie absolutely loves the zoo. We went 2 weeks ago, and it was great. So yeah, a little bit torn, but like overall, I heart it.
I'm going to go hate it because I can't see myself going anytime soon in my adult life. And also, yeah, heart the animals.
The last time I went, they gave us 3 free tickets for a future time this summer. So I guess you don't want me to invite you on that.
You
trip.
weren't going to anyways, so let's not act like that was the case. But that was cute. Yeah.
Well, if you said, "Oh, I've been dying to go,"
yeah, if I said right now, "Oh my God, zoos! I
I'm
forgot
like,
about how awesome they are, and I love them," you're like, "Hello, free ticket." And you get a car, and you get a car. You pull an Oprah.
We're doing a giveaway.
Yeah, can you imagine? All right, well, that's it for Heard It or Hate It.
Mm-hmm.
And we will see you next week.
Later, ladies.
Bye.